everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live. I hope you guys are being safe as we are entering in this really weird cold weather all of a sudden that's hitting most of the country. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out. This is to Marcus and Ryan from truck 195054, from Lynn and Fred Mellett from truck 815. They said, you have two terrific guys on your team, and we are so very glad to be a part of Tri-State. We would like to get them the recognition they both deserve. I guess you guys had a run to Quebec, and you escorted their truck as well as two other trucks, and Fred and Lynn just go on and on about how kind and how helpful you were in helping them get through all the road work that was going on. So good job, and we recognize you and your hard work, and we're so thankful for you. Today we have Michael Fisk with us. I'm just going to flip it on over to him and we'll get started. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Rhonda, there's the light's on. I don't know if we want it on or
This
the
is
flash
it?
light is on. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live, and thanks again. That's much deserved shout out. If you have other drivers that or office or anybody else that you, it's off now.
Okay.
Okay. That you want to highlight or to for us to give a shout to, please let us know, and we're happy to give the recognition for sure. Again, my name is Michael Fisk. For those who who don't know me, welcome everybody. I don't normally says this, but if you are driving, please turn it off and wait until you are parked, to be able to watch this. It'll be recorded and on our Facebook page for a couple of days, and then it'll be available on a permanent basis on our YouTube page. So there's a chance that Tim and Robin Roberts is going to join us, but they were part of the CSA Blitz that we're doing here in Joplin. So they may sneak in, but they might not. But I'm hoping that they can join us. I don't have a lot of things to discuss today. First, I want to start Happy Veterans Day. This past Monday, but for all of you that are veterans, we appreciate your service. Obviously, the business that we're in, we're very sensitive to and aware of our men and women that serve in the military. And certainly those of you that are veterans and prior service, we thank you and appreciate the work that you do. I'm talking with Corey Yessen, and we've had a couple of opportunities to explore some transition programs that the military has, the Skill Bridge program and Troops for Transportation, and it's given what we do, it's just different than standard trucking. Everybody understands that, but we certainly want to assist in the transition of our veterans into civilian life when and where we can. So anyway, thank you again. Happy Veterans Day, even though a couple of days late. I want to recap with you, everybody, some of our October CSAs improvements, and I'm sure safety has talked about that, and we'll talk about it more. And then, what we're continuing to do to just be, in our progression, as Ken Armstrong says, good to great. We want to be a great company, and some of the things that we're doing in the progress for that. Winter's coming, for you Game of Thrones fans. I mean, it's you'll recognize that, but winter is here. When I left Phoenix, it's 75 degrees, and Monday in Joplin is about 12 degrees. So winter is here. If you have any questions about any other topics, please send them into Riley. Normally I'd have the comments and everything up on my computer too, but wasn't able to set that up. But yeah, just think of any topics or comments that would be appropriate to talk about, and send them into Riley now, and she'll let us know as those come in. And then the final topic that I'll kind of talk about today, as we get the question a lot, is why do we continue to hire? Freight slowing down and that kind of stuff, then why are we still growing? And we'll talk about that. So anything to address right now, Riley, before?
No.
Okay. CSA. All right. So month of October was Let's Be Perfect month. Okay. we do really, really well. The amount of haz waste and hazmat related loads, that we move is more than, maybe, 20 other companies combined. And so we've always done really well. Unfortunately, one violation, is often one violation too many. And so, we have an effort, for literal perfection, and whether that's possible or not, we're going to strive for that. October, thanks to each of you individually and our fleet overall, we've had some really good improvements. We've shared this, on Facebook. JD has shared it in our weekly email forecast. But here's all the different headlines, and the improvements. There are two parts, and I don't remember where they are, which ones where they are, where we did not improve, but we were already pretty great in those, and then we just had real incremental, issues that, that made our score slightly worse, but they weren't significant, there. For us in particular, we want to continue to improve on the hazmats, part of the CSA, for sure. I mean, it's, just real simple things about, keeping your, the paperwork, the bill of ladings, the red book, within easy arm's reach, those, kind of simple things. As we talk to drivers, about a lot of these things, that come up, we understand that there's almost like a panic, that when a DOT officer is asking you for certain things, or when you've been, stopped, everybody's anxiety goes up. Whether it's a speeding ticket or, inspection or whatever, someone in uniform comes and there's just a general rise of anxiety. We get it. If you can remember to just take a breath, and try to lower your heart rate and think, the vast majority of the issues that we get, our drivers know the answer, or hey, where's your paperwork? And it's right here, but in that fog of anxiety, we all just kind of go through where we don't think straight, and if you gave me a second, I know the answer to a test or quiz or whatever, type of thing. I think Tim and Robin just got here, so come on in, guys. Okay, this is Facebook Live, so come on in, guys.
So Sydney,
we're okay right now, Ronnie.
Okay.
Tim and Robin Roberts just got here. If you can see them, I'll introduce them, here in a second, and they're going to share a couple of things. But like I was saying, it's, when you do get stopped for an inspection, try to take a moment, compose yourself, and several of the violations we have, we've been able to fight because we had the appropriate, documentation, licenses or whatever, but because, that fog of anxiety, the driver just wasn't able to produce it, on demand, but they had it, type of thing. So if you can remember, when you get stopped, just take a minute and ask the police officer, hey, or DOT or whomever, hey, just give me a second, I'm a little anxious, and so I understand what you're asking me for, but I just want a second to compose myself, type of thing, None of us are used to being stopped, and so we can be, anxious for sure. So we've had great improvement, in the month of October, and we applaud each of you, for that, and we thank each of you, for that. This entire week in Joplin, what we've been doing right now is we call it a CSA blitz, okay? And as the trucks come in, we're doing a truck inspection. This is not a gotcha, thing. We're not trying to, to catch anybody and anything, and where anybody's jobs, or in jeopardy or anything like that, but it's just an opportunity, again, for us to be better. So as trucks come in, we're doing if they're under hazmat load, if they're loaded, we're doing a full CSA level inspection, on the truck and trailer, and we're doing equipment inspection, just a basic equipment inspection, on the truck and trailer. We invite all the drivers, to come in. Starbucks sometimes has allowed us to get enough coffee to get fresh coffee for the drivers, sometimes not. But we have some snacks and treats, type of thing. and then different swag, different giveaways, you know, and we're doing a basic 15-question CSA test, you know, there. And again, I will tell you this, the first 15 drivers that took it didn't pass it, okay? They were like, man, is the test too hard? Is it
I feel better now.
Okay,
I just passed it.
all right, okay, so, you know, but then, you know, we realize, you know, that, again, most of our drivers is a test anxiety, you know, type of thing, you know, it's the same sort of thing when you get stopped, you know, we get anxious, you know, and so we put the red books out, you know, it's not a time thing, and we've had a lot of fun with it, and since then, you know, we've had a much better pass rate now. We've been able to identify a few places that we need to improve on as a fleet. You know, there's consistent questions, you know, that everybody seems to miss, and so, you know, we need better training on that, you know. So that's all it's for. I mean, there's no disciplinary, there is no, you know, I mean, it's, we have a bunch of swag, and you get if you pass the test, I see we've got different, you know, different fuzzy pins and driver obsessed T-shirts we're giving away, and camouflage hats, you know, and stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
So it's just fun, you know, and we'll take this opportunity. We're doing it in Joplin this week, but we'll probably do another location, you know, throughout the country, you know, in the coming weeks and months. Although it's super cold out there, you know. So anyway, that's what we're doing here in Joplin. You know, is this CSA Blitz, and we'll probably do more as we get out in the field. And other things as well, but again, I congratulate you and I thank you for the improvements, you know, that we've seen, and we just want to, you know, continue in our strive for perfection. Okay, winter's coming, winter's here, you know, and so it's different. I just want to review, you know, generally it's, you know, as a rule of thumb, I think all of our trucks have tire chains on them. But if you know, given what we haul, if the conditions are bad enough, you need to chain up. I probably shouldn't be driving, you know, type of thing. Now, if you got to throw them on, you know, to safely, you know, get off the freeway or whatever, those kind of things happen. I know there's a time when I was driving up in Minnesota, Albert Lee intersection, and I was coming off the exit, and all of a sudden my trailer, the tractor was stopped, and my trailer was just, I could see my mirror just swinging out.
Kept on going, yeah.
Kept on going, you know,
Yeah.
it scared the heck out of me, you know, type of thing, you know. So, you know, be aware of those things. Now, once in a while, we get a driver that says, hey, I can't drive, the conditions are unsafe. But we've had 10 trucks, you know, they'll go right by him on the, you know, and so, you know, again, you're the captain of your ship, you know, we rely on each of you, you know, collectively and individually to determine whether it's safe enough to, you know, for you to drive, and you're all professionals, you know, to do that, but we'll let you know too, say, well, you feel like it's not safe, but, you know, we've got 10, 15 trucks that just went by in the last hour, you know, type of thing, so we do bring that up, you know, it's not without, you know, other information of, you know, what should be safe or whatever out there, but again, you know, we rely on your, you know, abilities and instincts, you know, to be safe out there. Frank sent out some information about the diesel and fuel additives not too long ago, and we have it on our Facebook, you know, page, as well as our driver portal. If you know, if you need some guidance on that, you know, Frank has observed that some owner-operators in particular, sometimes they put in too much additive, and you can't put too much additive, you know, type of thing, but just be aware of when you need it, who's likely to have, you know, diesel that's already, you know, pre-treated, and those who won't, you know, type of thing. And if you go from a southern environment to northern, you know, you may need to throw some additives and, you know, type of thing. So anyway, if you have any other questions about that, let us know. You know, but like I said, we have resources online, you know, already for that as well. Okay. The final question that I want to address real quickly, and turn some time over to Tim and Robin here. You know, I get this question a lot. Why do we continue to recruit? Why do we continue to hire more drivers? And there's really two simple answers for that, okay? First is to replace, I mean, you know, unfortunately we do have turnover. Our turnover is amongst, you know, the best in the industry and best in the country. You know, we're proud of our retention efforts, you know, and able to keep drivers, but we do lose drivers, whether it's for safety issues or they're just not a good fit operationally, or something comes up at home. I mean, we just recently lost a driver. She'd been with us, you know, 8 years. but she, had a family, member pass away and needed to take care of that. Those things happen, and so we need to replace those drivers, type of thing. And the other reason why, we continue to grow, because oftentimes our customers require that. I mean, it's, Don Welchoff and his crew, team are out there. Listen, our drivers work hard. Our sales group works very hard. I mean, it's, I feel badly how they're gone from home as much as our drivers are, and not quite as much, but almost, Mm-hmm. And we have customers often that say, hey, I can give you more capacity if you can commit to us, X amount of trucks, type of thing. And this philosophy, is somewhat unique to the industry, but we've been able to show through the DoD and our port moves, it's, that if we provide the drivers with the endorsements, with the professionalism, and the willingness there, port moves, we get the entire movements, because it's not easy to get, the proper permits and the coordination and the logistics of planning, to get 40 trucks there, type of thing, but we're able to provide that service, to our customers, there. So there is a certain size that we believe, through, research that we can support. There's an amount of business that we can support, and we're working on that. One of the other things that the project we're working on right now is, we get questions all the time, says, hey, I need more home time. Do you have dedicated lanes that are going to get me by my house more regularly? Wade and his a group in Phoenix is working on dedicated lanes right now, okay? And we have to have a certain volume, to be able to accomplish that. I mean, we have to provide a reliable, capacity, to service these lanes, and so we're working on that. And capacity often requires, us to grow in order to create dedicated lanes. We have to have enough customers and enough trucks, to be able to meet those requirements. So we don't grow carelessly. I mean, it's expensive for us to grow. I mean, there's a capital expenditure of equipment and trailers and and all of that, and manpower. So if and when we grow, we have to make sure we do so strategically. And as we've shared before, we currently have a halt on a new owner operator, hiring, and we're aware of where we are and the strategic value of freezing that. And so we do have a waiting list, of owner operators that like to come in, but right now our business needs, are better served by not bringing them in right now. So we're aware, of the ups and downs of growth and hopefully how to best do it, but there is a strategy in place there. So, okay, so that's all that I have. Any questions, comments?
Teresa said you might mention something about lytics.
Yes. We've done a remarkable job of getting, the lytics dash cams, installed. I just want to reiterate again, that what it does and does not do. Okay, there is no volume, there's sound being recorded. There is no in cab, visuals, being shown or recorded. It is frontward facing only, and we've had several cases already, where that dash cam has exonerated the drivers of some difficult situations, there, so hopefully everybody understands the value, of a dash cam, why we have it. For a good professional driver, it's going to help you, certainly more times. Now, if you're tailgating or if you're, doing, things that are going to cause you problems, then we're going to call you and coach you on that, okay? But for the vast majority of our drivers, I think it's more of a relief, to have it, there than it is a negative, there. Teresa and Kay and the shop guys, I mean, they've done a tremendous job. I think, we've, 500 trucks. I think we've got about 350 of them taken care of. I mean, the next couple of weeks we want to get all the other trucks, taken care of. And so your driver manager will be sending it to either Crane, Richmond, Phoenix, or Joplin to get that taken care of if you haven't already. It's not really exactly related to that, but I know that there's some ELD challenges. It's not just us; the whole industry is having some ELD challenges, and so thank you for your patience on that. I mean, Leah and Donnie and Donnie's team. I mean, they've been working around the clock, on some of these issues, so we appreciate your patience, and some of it, we can avoid and deal with. Some of it is out of our hands, but we're working on it. I know there's one time, I think it's Leah, that was on hold for like 6 hours straight, with trying to get some things resolved. So we appreciate your patience on that. So, okay. Let me introduce here Tim Roberts and Robin Roberts. Okay, they're owner-operators that's been with R&R and Tri-State for how many years now?
Going on 10.
10 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
between the two.
They are technically members of our driver council.
Yes.
Yeah, when I get here.
No, they've never made a council meeting yet.
No.
Okay, but they're members of the driver council. They have great experience, and they've helped us through the transition, the joining of the two companies, and been very helpful. And anyway, I just want to turn the time for them, and they're going to share a couple of thoughts with us.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I just a couple things I wanted to touch on when I came in. Mike was talking about CSA and roadside inspections and be prepared. One simple thing that they require us to do that not everybody does is just make sure that you have all your paperwork and prepared when you leave a shipper, especially something as simple as a 1.1, 2, or 3 routing sheet. It used to be years ago, whenever you went into a military facility, they wanted to see it. They would make you write it out, and they'd keep a copy in. Now, when you go places, they don't even care. Do you want my route plan? No, that's up to you. And it makes it easy to say, well, if they don't really want it, why do it? I have been inspected twice with 1.1 on, and the first thing I handed the officer, I reached up above my head and got my shipping papers, and it had my route plan on top. And I made sure that I pointed it out to him. Here's a route plan, here are the papers. And I wanted him to see the route plan first, even before the papers, because I didn't want it to get mixed up in the shuffle. And then I handed him my ERG book. And so I was handing him stuff before he even asked for it. Because I wanted to say, you need this, and this. Here you go do your job. Well, I didn't say it like that.
So he know you prepared.
So he knows that I'm prepared, and that he doesn't have to come back and ask for things like, well, lady, can I have your license? Oh yeah, that would help. But other than that, just being prepared, being safe on the road, that safe driving distance. We've had a dash cam in our truck since, I don't know, last 2 or 3 years probably, that we got from R&R, and we're switching it out for the one here, and it has helped tremendously in your side of the story. I haven't been involved in an accident, but our dash cam actually helped us for someone who wanted to put a fraudulent claim against us, because your dash cam clicks in when you hit the brakes, when you have some kind of incident, somebody hits your truck, you hit somebody else's vehicle, whatever, the dash cam automatically activates. And there was a lady in Missouri who said we hit her car, and we don't know where she came from. She just kind of followed us into a truck stop and said, you hit my car, and there's no dash cam, there's no damage, there's no nothing. And we ended up with the police, and he said, I don't know what she's talking about. He's like, this lady was never there. And so people don't always have good intentions, when they see a big truck and, they want to get their dollar or their payday. So being safe in winter driving, Tim and I have been driving together 12 years. If we have to chain it, we're not moving it. And that's just our personal preference. Yeah. That's not to say we don't drive through snow and hazardous conditions. Last winter we got stuck driving through Idaho in whiteout conditions, and we had to keep driving because it was one lane each way, and there was no side of the road. If you stopped, people were going to run into you, but it was a matter of just being safe, slowing down, creeping along with your flashers on. If it'll get you to a point where you can pull over and be safe, safety's first. And it's not just because you're carrying explosives or missiles or bombs or any of that kind of stuff. Value your own life, and in valuing your own life, you will value the life of others. And that's kind of my safety message.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Basically, be safe. Take care of your space. When I'm saying that is, you stay in your lane, watch your sides at all times, especially in these winter conditions, because like Mike said, your trailer can drift and you don't even know about it. If you're looking straight ahead and not looking on the sides of you, your trailer might drift and you'll say, but I didn't hit him. Yes, you did, because you're not paying attention. What you do is you just stay in your lane and watch your whole vehicle. It's easy. Use your mirrors and your front window. It's very easy. Slow down, take your time, and please be safe. That's all I can say.
Let me ask you a question, what we've got here. I had a couple of drivers ask about, what resources we have for parking. Do you find parking difficult to challenge?
Yeah, parking is becoming extremely more difficult to find because people, of course, want to be in truck stops. I'm finding that the states that we know, the lanes we normally travel in, especially like New Mexico, is it New Mexico? They kind of closed down almost all their rest areas. Yeah. And there are states that are either remodeling rest areas or shutting them down for safety issues or different things, which eliminates places to park. States are also eliminating parking. You know how drivers would get off the on-ramp and
Sure.
you just see a row of trucks. They're eliminating that anymore, the parking on the on and off ramps. So it is a challenge, especially when you're watching your clock, you're trying to get to someplace safe, but you're trying to get as many miles in and use your time as effectively as you need to. It is not easy at all. And I can't think of, other than there just kind of being a industry-wide push for safer areas for drivers, especially with this ELD and the hours of service. You see more drivers sitting in the fuel lanes. They'll fuel. It might take where you pull in and you'll fuel, and you'll pull up and you'll park your truck and you'll go inside and get your receipt or get a soda or coffee and you'll come back to your truck. It's more people in the truck stop, so that's taking longer. So it's like 15 or 20 minutes before you come back out. The other guy behind you's finished fueling. You get in and you're kind of like, well, I got 10 more minutes, before my break is over. So before ELD, you used to be able to go park, maybe, or creep and sit in a space or next to somebody for that 10 minutes and get gone. Now, put your truck in gear, you're in drive mode. So you have to really figure it out that once you fuel, even on duty, when you drive, she just told me, when you drive to pull up to go get your receipt, you just put yourself back in driving because you roll forward 25 feet. I haven't absorbed that yet. I'm just kind of honest. But she just switched ours today. Okay. So I haven't experienced any of this stuff that's gonna make you on the Qualcomm all the time changing your logs to what you want to be and what you want to do, and any of the things that you encounter with traffic or traffic lights, or even just getting DOT'd or something. I haven't experienced any of that, but in terms of parking, it's becoming very hard. I think the industry is going to have to push for more states or more parking areas, not so much resting areas. Missouri is good. They've got a lot of parking areas. It just says truck parking. There's nothing there but a dumpster and some empty space, and trucks pull in and park.
That's right.
You can throw your trash out, and you can sit all night, all day, whatever. I'm thinking they need more parking spaces at areas as opposed to rest areas, go eat and, you know, get something to drink and that type of thing.
Well, number one, once again, pay attention to your time and try to schedule your stops. When I say schedule your stops, if you know you got 6 hours left, but the end of your trip is 9 hours, schedule it so you can have a restart to reboot your time so you can do your time without having to switch drivers or something like that. But please schedule your stops. It's rest areas. I got a GPS to tell me where every rest area is along my trip.
Yeah, that
And
really helps.
if I have to, I'll schedule to stop in that rest area for half an hour or whatever, or even to go to sleep for the night.
Sure.
You know, but you have to be cognizant.
Cognizant.
Yeah, well, I can't say the word right, but aware of your place along your trip. Make sure you schedule everything so you don't get caught up in a lot of stuff.
So what I hear you saying, especially with you know the ELD changes,
Yes.
you know, but parking, the greatest tool that you have, you know, is planning and awareness.
That's
you know,
right.
And,
Plan.
and don't catch yourself surprised. Do you want to share what your GPS is in case?
Oh, we have a Ram McNally,
Okay.
720, I think. But I've tried a Garmin. I favor the Ram McNally we've had as they've gone to bigger ones. We have one of the larger ones.
And it tells you where the
It
rest stops
tells,
are.
and
It
some of
tells
the
you.
other ones do. You push up my route. You'll just ask for general things by route, and once you put your route in, you can hit rest areas, and it will give you every rest area along your route.
Right.
It'll give you every truck stop if you want, you know, to find a movie theater or whatever along the way. Anything,
I mean, any
but it really does
from
help you plan.
restaurants, quote unquote, from rest areas, whatever you
Right.
want to do is on there. And if you want a hotel,
Yeah.
it'll show you the hotels along the way. It's a very, I used to didn't believe in them
Until I got it.
until she got in the truck with me, and now I can't live without it.
Now again, you know, whenever GPS devices come up, I know safety is always concerned. You can't necessarily trust it to send you on a truck route or a hazmat route. So
Well,
yes.
again,
Yes.
this
But see-
this GPS
Does
has
Yes.
it allows you to pick your hazardous class.
Okay.
It allows you
Wow.
to do loaded
Yes.
or unloaded. It allows you, so basically it will, if you put in explosives, which we always leave ours pretty much on explosives,
Sure.
unless we're going home or something, it will always route us around the beltways and the things that you need. It will tell you
But nonetheless,
truck weight violation
pay
and all
attention.
that.
Pay attention,
Exactly.
that's right.
Because
And
GPS can be wrong once in a while.
That's right.
And
Yes,
even with,
that's exactly
you know,
right.
they ask you with our macros here at Tri-State, and they give us directions,
Yeah.
and some of the directions are repetitive. Some of them,
We're working on that.
I understand, but I try to send in a note when I find something. But I'm also finding that this GPS also lets you, once you get to where you're going, it'll let you save the exact location.
Okay.
And it
You drop a
puts it in
pin,
logic,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
it'll bring you right back to that spot,
Right.
which is helpful. I probably got 200 names saved in different
Right.
locations in my GPS, but it helps. I was going to also say for driver council, I don't know how hard it is, but some of the places that have no names and no addresses and go to gate 5 on this road, I think if someone's been there and they can get longitude and latitude, and send it in. It's good to have for people that are able to.
We discussed that. Share that with Vonda and
Okay.
her CSR group, okay?
Mhm.
Because,
Okay.
because I think we're trying to
Yeah.
get some
It's-
data.
I mean,
Things that make it easier for the driver
Sure,
and
sure.
to get there.
and let drivers know that directions are basically complex anyway.
Yeah,
Try to simplify them as much as possible.
that's right.
I mean, if it's go down the road 10 miles and it'll be on your right. Come on. That's simple, but what 10
Yeah.
miles?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Come
right. Well, guys, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
It's great to have you guys. Anything,
I'll make a
Riley,
meeting
for us to?
one
Well, we have one question that you guys might have good insight on from Dave. He says, if you schedule your time to be in a rest area and it's full with no spots left, now what?
It's a good point.
That's a good point.
Have a backup plan, because like I said, it's hard to park. It used to be parking areas and rest areas and stuff were not full till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Now you pull into a truck stop at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and everybody's parked.
Not even 5.
You have to realize not
3
everybody
o'clock.
is driving teams. Like we have a lot of teams, so you can kind of rely on your other person if you want to take a break. There's times, honestly, if I've got my hours and Tim starts out driving and we get to where he needs to take his break, but there's nowhere to take a break, pull over, park, do an inspection, swap out to me, and I'll take off and drive. He has to do all his time again, and it might take away from doing what you need to do, but you rely on your teammate to kind of get you down the road a little further, where they might have to drive. We've had to do that,
But see, I always, in scheduling out your route, always give yourself more time than you need.
Yeah, if you need to stop in 3
I mean,
hours, stop
if-
in 1.5 or 2.
If you have to,
Yeah.
give yourself another a window, so to speak, that if you can't find a parking space there, you have enough time to go down the road a few more miles to another spot. Never just cut it off. Oh, I got to be there at 5 o'clock, or that's not good.
Yeah, you're
Because
stuck
you're
in violation.
cutting your own throat.
And I know that our drivers have particular challenges because with depending on what we're hauling, you can't park close to
Yeah, you
buildings.
can't park on the side of
I
the
mean,
road.
you
Yeah.
can't park.
So-
There's
so
a lot
the
of
roads-
places you can't park.
And that kind of stuff. But it requires creativity sometimes.
Yes, yes.
To figure out. Okay. I mean, that's not a standard parking spot, but it should be safe and legal.
Yes,
everything,
yes.
type of thing.
And that's another. You got.
You mentioned hotels,
Yes,
that type of thing.
yes.
A lot of them, if we know they're truck friendly, type of thing.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
can't take explosives. Well, you'd have to attend a load if you had it, depending on what
That's
you're
right.
carrying anyway.
That's right.
But a lot of them are truck friendly, and I'm seeing that a lot more of the restaurants
Yeah.
are kind of bus and truck and RV parking. If it can handle an RV bus or an RV or a bus, it kind of can handle truck parking. You just, like he said, be creative. Think about it. Just know that you're in compliance. Keep aware. I read. My husband laughs at me because I read all the roadside signs. I read them all. I want to know what everything says because I'm nosy and I want to know. But if you're ever gone up to, we live in Las Vegas. If you've ever gone up to Hawthorne, up to 95 or the 93, and you're going up to any of those places up there, there's a town that has signs posted that says, if you are carrying explosives, you cannot stop in this town. And you can't stop. I mean, unless you blow a tire or you have an accident or something, you have to know to keep it pushing. So those kind of things, if you're aware of them, watch your time. Because if you're getting up to one of those places and you think, and they have a rest area there, you can't stop there, and you thinking, I can stop at this rest area. No, you get a big ticket. So
Yeah, that's
you just
across
have to
from the
be aware.
Gold Nugget up there.
So be aware, but that's a good point too. I mean, there's casinos almost everywhere
Yeah,
these days,
yeah,
and
yeah.
oftentimes they can be a good place for parking.
Parking,
That's right. That's exactly right. But
So
then,
sometimes
then
you gotta be a
again,
little creative,
you got to be creative, but then again, you got to know what you're carrying.
creative
and-
and compliance.
That's
is-
right,
Is
that's
what
right.
Robin said.
That's
Yeah,
right.
You gotta be
Okay.
creative and blind.
You got to be able to
That's great.
It's a great industry,
Move around.
and it's I think it's growing. My son just became a truck driver. My second son, my other son.
We're also working on solutions, to that too. So anyway, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thanks for
You're
joining us.
welcome.
Appreciate you.
So far, Mr. Fisk,
Mike, please.
Mike. All right, Mike. You've told the truth.
Okay.
Oh
So
yeah,
far.
back to that conversation.
For
in
better or for
grade.
worse.
So far, you've told the truth,
Yeah.
and believe me, I take great pride in my job.
Yeah, been working for Tri-State.
We
I
know.
like Tri-State.
I take
yeah.
great pride in my job, and I always tell people, wherever I meet them, they say, "You know someplace?" I say, "Tri-State." Right now, y'all the best thing kicking.
We appreciate that. We're not perfect,
No, hey,
well, no
y'all, I
one
mean,
is.
no one's perfect.
but we're
No,
we try.
but-
We're trying.
Like I said, y'all the best thing kicking,
Thank you.
and I ain't going nowhere. That's all I can
All
say.
right, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Trying
Yeah.
to get them to